Hey guys, and welcome back to the second lesson of Hand Technique Demystified. Last week we talked about how to hold a drumstick. If you hold it the same way with both hands, you're using a matched grip. The hands match. Here, all the rules that we discussed apply to both hands equally. However, there is another very common way to hold your drumsticks using a different grip with your left hand, like this. This is traditional grip. So if you're right-handed, this is your left hand. If you're left-handed, your right hand might be in the traditional position, but that depends on what kind of setup you play and if you lead with your left or your right hand. The traditional hand is the one that doesn't lead, so not the one that plays the hi-hats or ride cymbal mostly. I will from now on refer to the left hand as the traditional hand. First of all, let me shortly explain where this comes from. Back in the old days, before the drum set was invented, snare drums were used in the military for marching. And back in those days, marching drummers did not have parallel straps to wear their snare drums at a flat angle. They had to wear their snare drums very angled on one strap that went across their shoulder. So if you try to play it now with your matched grip, this is what happens. And traditional grip does nothing more than bring the elbow back down again. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the only reason why this grip exists. It brings the elbow back down to your body again and relaxes your shoulder when playing a drum at an extreme angle. Okay, so why did drummers then start to play the drum set like this? And why is this grip still used today? The drum set developed over time at the beginning of the 20th century, and the first guys playing it were military and marching drummers who developed their entire technique around this grip that they've practiced for years. So of course they continued to use it while playing the drum set. And that led to all the early drum heroes and jazz greats playing traditional grip. And that's one of the reasons why it's still used today, out of tradition, traditional grip. Drummers in popular music who started to play the drum set during the 60s and later without any classical or marching background often started to use match grip right away. That's why also today most pop and rock drummers use matched grip because their drum heroes and idols played that way, whereas a lot of jazz drummers continue to use traditional grip. To me, it's really not a matter of stylistics. I think it's a beautiful, more advanced and very cool looking technique. And I don't want to get into any more detail why I mostly use traditional grip, as this would bring this video easily up to 60 minutes. Let me just say that it's an emotional and not a technical decision. Traditional grip has no technical advantages. If anything, it has more technical disadvantages. So my advice, if you're not interested in actually using it, would be don't learn it. But let's take a look at this grip and demystify it. Put your left hand out there as if you would shake someone's hand with it. Put the sweet spot of the stick in the soft part between your thumb and index finger. Boom! That's traditional grip. And you can actually already play like this by using either the turn of your forearm or your thumb. The rest is just closing the fingers lightly. Index and middle finger go on top of the stick. Ring finger and pinky go below. Again, don't push, squeeze or curl your fingers in. Easy. There are a number of different positions and tasks for your fingers here. Most people guide the stick with their index finger. Some people add their middle finger to that. Other people don't really use their middle finger. Some people actually also don't really use their index finger, but guide the stick more with their thumb, like this. This is more of a Viennese classical way. The ring finger is supporting the stick from below. The pinky does nothing at all, but keep it inside with your ring finger and relax. And like we've discussed last week, keep your wrist straight in traditional grip too. Again, if anything, it should be bent rather to the inside than to the outside. I only use this kind of position for bus rolls and keep my wrist straight for pretty much everything else. A couple of interesting things should be added. It can be seen as a kind of opposite version of what the right hand is doing. Put both your hands out there. Right stick goes up in your hand, left stick goes down in your hand. The weight of the right arm lies on top of the stick, the weight of the left arm lies below the stick. The right hand is behind the fulcrum on the stick, the left hand is in front of the fulcrum. And so on. So you see, all this adds to this kind of yin and yang principle that is also very fascinating about the traditional grip. I find that especially in jazz playing, with your right hand on the cymbal in this kind of position and your left hand on the snare, you can totally benefit from your hands being parallel and getting into this kind of yin-yang, push-pull, sideways dialogue, rather than doing this. As I've told you before, it's a psychological and emotional decision whether you want to underline this yin-yang, left-right principle of your body, or whether you want to create evenness between your hands. You have a left hand and you have a right hand. You have a stronger hand and you have a weaker hand. The two hands do completely different tasks when playing most other instruments. So should they also move differently when playing the drums? Or should they do the same? That's really your decision, and post your answers in the comment section. So that's it for today. We've now discussed both ways to grip the stick, and we will get into the different playing positions next week. Again, if you have any questions, please put them in the comment section or go to my website. Thanks for watching, please hit like and subscribe, and see you all next Monday.